It's pretty loud, I think, so it's a volume issue. I'm good. Yeah.
Mr. Cox.
Yeah.
Okay.
You look great. Dude, I've been hearing that so much this year. So I don't know why. I have no idea what it is.
So where are you guys coming from now?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Just came from
So you on tour, you'd missed the big blizzard and all that?
Missed it.
Yeah. You guys all from New York?
We all live there, but not all from there.
What do you guys do? Like, what's an average day for you not on the road? Like, you guys still hold day jobs and stuff?
Different for everybody. I don't have a day job between Parquet Courts and this label that I do called Dull Tools. You know, I do enough to get by. Everybody does what they can, but my day is probably drastically different than Sean's day because Sean's got a child.
Yeah, just
He's
had a baby.
responsible.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
That's great.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
married?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been so much fun. He's 4 months old.
Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Oh, this is Sean speaking. This is Sean's voice.
This is the voice of Andrew.
And yeah, my wife and I actually just moved to Philadelphia in January, at the beginning of January.
How long have you been married?
Only a little over a year, actually.
Yeah.
Baby was at our first anniversary, actually.
Was born.
Well, no, well, he was already alive. He was partying with us.
Is that how you consider it? Because I have friends that have recently had children, and they honestly sort of consider it like a new team member, and it's like somebody they can totally be themselves around or whatever, and sort of a game changer in the life thing.
Sure. I mean, obviously it is that, but
Right.
I mean, it's been great, man. It's so much fun. It's super surreal. It's a lot of, I'm sure, what most new parents say, but I think that I'm really grateful to be in this situation that I'm in, that I can still be making art and touring and be a dad and be able to support that lifestyle with this lifestyle. I think that's something that is a goal that I'm really happy that I've been able to get to, and I think it makes me sort of better at, or at least so far in the first few months, better at being the kind of dad I'd hope to be anyway. So
sort of making you sharpen up in other aspects of life too, or is it?
I guess, I don't know, I've never, well, what do you mean?
I imagine that having a child is pretty, a lot more responsibility than your normal
Sure,
thing.
yeah.
So maybe it carries over into your music or something where you become more serious about it, maybe, or
I don't know. Well, I think we all take it all taken it seriously. I think that's something that we all work together really well with each other. I think it is kind of funny because before doing Parquet Courts full time, we have all had jobs like full time, part time, whatever, varying on the spectrum of levels of responsibilities. But when I had a full time job before doing this band full time, I felt like I was less responsible than I am now. I think maybe because this is, before it's like you have a boss and you're kind of you're working sort of to fulfill another person's end goal. So in some capacity, it doesn't really feel like it belongs to you as much. So you're kind of like, oh, well, I'll get my paycheck and then party on the weekend and only, do what I have to do. But this is our collective thing, and it feels a lot more, I don't know, it's exciting to be able to see it grow and nurture it, and I think that as a result it's sort of, maybe I guess kind of incidentally puts you in a more responsible world, but it's not like it's less fun either, it's still, we still have a blast, I think, together. And
yeah, I think that's generational. I think people younger sort of lightened up on the whole strict parent thing, and it's really just let's just be people who we are.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's cool. That's great.
Yeah, thanks.
But the most recent release was Content Nausea. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you guys playing that sort of stuff?
Yeah, we're playing a lot of stuff off Content Nausea right now. A lot of stuff off Sunbathing Animal. A few things off Light Up Gold.
I kind of, the one track I honestly just listened to that today. I've been kind of listening to Sunbathing Animal on repeat, but the one track that kind of caught me was the anxiety track.
Oh yeah, Every Day It Starts.
Yeah, it
Sean
was
wrote
sort
that
of
one.
like simple, like early DC style or something. It reminded me like Slant Six. But anyway, the thing that strikes me about your music is that, and I love this about music, that it's very repetitive, and you guys kind of let one person kind of ride out something, and while everyone else is kind of how important and how much do you guys think about what you're putting out as far as like music? Is it decided to be like, you know, like something like ducking and dodging, like it's very repetitive.
Yeah.
And I think that's great because it allows the story sort of to unfold and different elements shine at different times. Sorry, I'm not
Yeah. Well, you know, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, of course we think about it. Like, there's definitely like a parquet court style that I wouldn't say we really labor over. It's just kind of one of those things that you know it when you feel it. With Duckin' and Dodgin' and pretty much all of Sunbathing Animal, like, there's definitely like a thematic thing where a lot of the music is really simple and rudimentary and repetitive, and and you know, some songs are just, you know, two chords. And, you know, it's easier to have the kind of really long lyrical songs when you have music and rhythm that's uncomplicated. It kind of frees up a little bit more space for you to do more things with the lyrics, I think, anyway.
Yeah, the words seem pretty important. I mean, that seems to be a pretty large element of what's going on.
Yeah, and in a lot of Parquet Court songs, especially on Sunbathing Animal, there's kind of the music and the beat is kind of there supporting the lyrics, you know, rather than in a lot of pop music, it's, you know, lyrics are kind of the afterthought. It's the melody.
To a large degree, like naming or rhyming the same word with the same word over and over again.
Yeah, and even in punk bands and rock bands, like, and it's not. I'm not talking down on that. You know, it's fine. But this is just that's the kind of album I wanted to make. We all wanted to make was something that was maybe denser on the lyrical side. But it's you know it's a conceptual decision too, because a lot of the lyrics on that album have to do with confinement and imprisonment and then freedom. So the confinement is kind of represented by the restraint and the more regimented parts, which is like, you know, the rhythm and the drum parts, and then I guess the freedom side is kind of when me and Austin do like kind of improvise guitar solos and like dual guitar stuff, and in the lyrics too, the vocal delivery.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension and release, sort of, which I think is important. I mean,
yeah, when you have two sort of musical extremes like that, I think they harmonize together pretty well, and that's, you know, every day it
creates a
starts.
certain urgency, really. Like it's
Yeah.
sort of there, and it also makes. I've noticed that on some of the longer songs, it just makes you forget that they're that long. You know, you're just sort of on this thing, and you kind of
Get
fade
lost
into
in
it, and then you're at the end of it, and you're kind of like, oh, what happened? But what do you guys? Do you guys have any go-tos on the road when you're driving, like listening, as far as like bands you listen to? I know that when I've been traveling with bands, you get sort of like 6 albums. They're like The Cure, Standing by the Sea, or like, you know, the singles, the Smiths singles is always on, or
It's
I don't know if that's changed with like headphones or something, but
no, I don't like listening to headphones in the van. I think important part of touring is listening to music together, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, whatever anybody wants to put on. Hey, I want to put this on, you know.
It's cool too because it ends up becoming, for us, because we tour so often, that we end up sort of collectively having like a lot of the same favorite records, or
Yeah.
and then that kind of, I think you can see it during like songwriting process, like how we kind of like each take away from songs we've listened to while we've been on tour, and like it sort of becomes almost a way of communicating with each other too, because we're like, oh well, you know that part from this record that we liked, like we should try to like, but since we all have been like listening to it for so long, we already are aware of that kind of this sonic vernacular or something, so we're like, oh okay, cool, and then it's sort of easy for us to pop into it.
is there any like contemporary artists that you like could highlight at the moment that you're listening to that like I've just been finding it hard recently to find bands that are actually together playing music now that I am interested in, which is kind of why it took me, because I'm older and I just think I've like the connectivity is not the same. Like I don't look at bands and say like, oh, this guy played in this band and this and this and this and whatever. But
let's see. Today we listened to the new Hank Wood and the Hammerheads LP. Definitely listened to some Total Control on this trip.
Do you do artwork for them?
No.
Okay, but you do artwork for your records.
Yeah.
And you said you're an artist as well, separately.
Well, did I say that?
You were talking about music.
Yeah. I meant
Oh, okay.
like
Oh,
you-
sorry. Okay. Sorry.
I
Yeah,
like
they
Google
kinda-
sometimes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it kind of follows suit with the. I mean, the covers and stuff make sense for the whole package almost. It all works together, so it's it's a nice touch. What was I going to ask you? Maybe is there anything like as you're making more music, because you guys seem pretty prolific? Is it you guys want to keep it always so that we can play this stuff live? Is that an important vibe? Because it has a very like,
Yeah, that's something I think about. Like when I'm gonna do a record, and it's not like it's not the foremost importance, but I do think like, am I gonna enjoy playing these songs for the next year, 2 years, however many years, I want to think about, is it going to work live? Because, in our purest form, we're a live band. I mean, that's where Parquet chords exist, and our natural element is live. So, and that's where the songs, before songs get recorded, they're played live. A lot. We like playing new songs that aren't recorded yet. So, a lot of songs evolve that way when you're playing. When you're playing them over and over again, and maybe you consider the song fully written, but some magic happens live, and it becomes a part of the song. In some cases, there are songs Parquet chord songs when I read the title and I hear it in my head, I hear the live version of it. I don't necessarily hear the recorded version of it.
That's cool. So what was? Oh, the reason why I kind of asked is because you guys did that. I don't know when it was, but I saw the Eno covers.
Oh yeah.
And that seemed like that's obviously like that guy had way more instrumentation going on and stuff like that. But you guys really pulled it off well. Like I love Eno stuff, and that was really great. Who else was a part of that?
Well, that was.
Was there like a whole? It was a whole
that
album.
was on a PC tour.
Yeah, I actually wasn't there for that.
He wasn't there for that.
Oh, really?
So that was me and Austin and our friends PC Worship.
Okay.
We started this band called PC, and got invited to do this Brian Eno festival in Cologne, Germany. And we only did 2 songs, Fat Lady of Lemberg and Taking Tiger Mountain,
Right.
which is one of my favorite songs of all time. So I was honored to do it. It came out really well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Owen Pallett from Arcade Fire joined us with some of his band to do vocals, the choral part.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool to do, to tribute someone that's influenced me so much like him.
It'll be actually